Welcome to NFL Talk.
I'm Olivia.
And I'm Liam. And we're diving into a game that had everyone talking this week. Rams versus Seahawks.
Yeah, a divisional matchup with both teams really fighting for a playoff spot.
The final score was 26-20 Rams, but that really doesn't capture the insanity of this one.
Right. This game was back and forth the entire time.
So let's talk about the Seahawks' 4th-and-1 in overtime. They were driving and had a chance to win it right there.
It was a gutsy call to go for it on 4th down, especially in overtime.
Yeah. The Rams' defense, though, absolutely shut them down.
Yeah.
Bobby Brown III and Omar Speight stopped Kenneth Walker III dead in his tracks.
Wow, what a momentum shift. That goal line stand, I think that was the turning point for the Rams.
Completely energized them. And then that's when we got to see Demarcus Robinson's insane game-winning catch, 39 yards out, one-handed, with Rick Woolen all over him.
That was unbelievable. The athleticism to make that catch was just out of this world.
You don't see plays like that every day. This game was wild from start to finish. 6 interceptions total.
Wow.
3 for each team.
Wow. That's crazy. You just don't see that very often.
It made the game completely unpredictable. Every possession felt like it could change the entire game.
You're telling me. And speaking of game-changing plays, let's talk about Cameron Kinchens' 103-yard pick six for the Rams.
That was electric.
Yeah.
Not only was it amazing to watch, but it's a Rams franchise record for the longest interception return.
103-yard interception return. Wow. You don't see that kind of play very often.
Definitely a reminder that defense can absolutely win games.
It shows how every single play matters. And while we're on the topic of standout performances, Jackson Smith-Njigba really stepped up for the Seahawks.
He was on fire. He had a career-high 180 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns.
It's remarkable considering he was filling in for DK Metcalf, who was out with an injury for this game.
Smith-Njigba showed everyone why he was such a highly touted prospect coming into the league.
He's definitely a bright spot for the Seahawks and someone to keep an eye on.
Yeah, this game wasn't all sunshine and rainbows.
Mm-hmm.
There was definitely some tension that boiled over.
You're talking about Puka Nacua getting ejected?
Yeah. He threw a punch at Seahawks linebacker Tyrell Dodson in the second quarter.
Those divisional matchups always seem to bring out the intensity in players.
Absolutely. Emotions run high, but throwing a punch is going to get you tossed out every time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Rams handle that situation.
Definitely something to keep an eye on. Moving on, let's talk about the injuries in this game. They definitely played a factor.
Unfortunately, injuries are a part of the game, and they can really impact the outcome.
The Seahawks had George Fant go down with a knee injury in the first half.
That's tough. He had just come back from injured reserve, and now he's dealing with another knee issue.
It's a big loss for their offensive line. And for the Rams, losing Rob Havenstein to an ankle injury late in the third quarter hurt their offensive line as well.
It definitely made things more difficult for Stafford and the offense.
Injuries always add another layer of complexity to the game, forcing teams to adjust on the fly.
And this game was already complex enough with all the turnovers and big plays.
It was a true nail-biter from start to finish. What really stood out to you about this game, Olivia?
Oh, man. It's hard to choose just one thing. This game was packed with action and drama from start to finish.
It really had everything, didn't it?
Absolutely. We saw incredible catches, defensive stands, and some truly unforgettable moments.
And in the end, it was the Rams who pulled out the victory.
But you have to give credit to both teams. They both played their hearts out.
So what's next for these two teams? Will this win be the turning point for the Rams? Or will the Seahawks bounce back after their bye week?
I guess we'll have to wait and see. This rivalry is always exciting, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
Me neither, Olivia. Me neither. It was a wild game with a lot to unpack.
Absolutely. This is just the beginning of what's sure to be another amazing NFL season.
I can't wait to see what unfolds over the next few weeks.
It's going to be a wild ride, that's for sure.
Well, folks, that's a wrap on our deep dive into the Rams-Seahawks showdown.
A game that had everything a football fan could ask for.
Thanks for joining us.
One thing that really impressed me was how both quarterbacks, Stafford and Smith, handled all that pressure.
Yeah, they were both under a lot of it, for sure.
Think about it. 6 interceptions combined constant pressure from the defenses, the game going into overtime. That's a lot to deal with mentally.
Yeah, they both showed a lot of resilience. They didn't let the pressure get to them.
Stafford ended up with 298 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, while Smith threw for 363 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Those are some pretty impressive numbers, especially considering the circumstances.
They both made some big-time throws when their teams needed them most.
It really speaks to their experience and their leadership abilities.
You could see how much they wanted to win this game, and that kind of intensity filters down to the rest of the team.
For sure. And I think it's one of the things that makes this rivalry so great. The Rams and Seahawks always seem to bring out the best in each other.
Yeah, it's a classic matchup, full of passion and respect.
Even though the Seahawks lost, I thought their coaching staff did a great job.
They made some bold calls, like
Oh.
going for it on 4th down in overtime.
Yeah, it didn't work out in the end, but I respect the aggressive play calling.
They were also without DK Metcalf, which made things even more challenging.
And yet they still managed to keep the game close. It shows how much fight this team has.
Yeah, they found creative ways to move the ball and get Smith-Njigba involved.
I think they'll learn from this loss and come back even stronger after their bye week.
The Seahawks team is definitely not going away anytime soon.
So we saw a ton of action, ton of trauma, and in the end, the Rams came away with a victory.
It was a hard-fought win, and one that could have a big impact on the rest of the season.
It's still early, but this win definitely puts the Rams in a good position moving forward.
Yeah, it sends a message to the rest of the NFC West that they're a contender.
As we wrap up our deep dive into this Rams-Seahawks game, what are your final thoughts, Olivia?
I think this game had a little bit of everything that makes the NFL so great.
The excitement, the intensity, the strategic battles.
We saw incredible individual performances, gutsy coaching decisions, and a never-give-up attitude from both teams.
And it all came down to a few key moments. You know, those pivotal plays that can change the entire momentum of the game.
It's those moments that keep us on the edge of our seats.
This Rams-Seahawks game was a classic. It was a reminder of why this rivalry is so special.
We saw a ton of skill, a ton of heart, and a ton of determination from both sides.
And in the end, it was the Rams who emerged victorious.
But both teams left it all out on the field.
This game will be talked about for a long time.
It was one for the ages.
It's just a taste of what's to come in this exciting NFL season.
I can't wait to see what happens next.
Me neither, Olivia. Me neither. Well, folks, that's all we have for today's deep dive into this epic Rams-Seahawks matchup.
Until next time. Yeah, it was a blast breaking this one down with you.
I couldn't agree more, Olivia. This one had me on the edge of my seat the entire time.
I think it's safe to say we'll be talking about this game for a while.
Oh, for sure. Who knows what kind of craziness the rest of the season has in store for us.
I can't wait.
Me too, Olivia. Me too. Well, folks, that's all we have for today's deep dive into this epic Rams-Seahawks matchup.
Until next time.
Goodbye, and see you in the next video.